Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Renegade Society Radio News Show. We are here again. Thank you for coming and joining me. So a few notes before we dive in today, just an update in case you didn't already know about this amazing Kickstarter that we have for Embarcadero. It has been going strong. We funded in 19 minutes, so you need to check it out. It's a super exciting game, and yeah, it's really awesome, especially if you are a fan of strategy games, which I personally am. We also have Gudadama, the tricky egg card game, which has hit the shelves of your friendly local game store, so you need to check that out, as well as Clank Adventuring Party has just arrived. You can get that treasure, you can expand your player count, and we've got a giveaway going on today, a super exciting giveaway for Athenium and Gudetama, and I'm going to be giving you the code word later in the show, so stay tuned for that and keep your ears open. I don't know how you close ears, but keep them open. You know what I mean. All right. And also stay tuned for that link as well. There'll be some links in the chat. They're probably already there right now that Desiree has for you. And if you have any questions for my guest today, my guest is the fantastic Chris Whitpan, who is our awesome coordinator of events, conventions, all of these exciting things. He's also a content creator as well. So plug those questions in the chat, and hello to you, Chris. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Amanda. It's nice to finally get to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
This is like the first time I've been around the Renegade family, and it's the first time we've had a chance to actually chat and have some fun.
Yes, in this digital world where we get to, at least we get to see each other though. So when we see each other in person, we'll be like, I know who you are.
It'll be old hat by then.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Goody Thomas showed up today. And I think I just spent 15 minutes just looking through the cards and giggling because it's so adorable. It's so cute.
It's so cute. I'm actually super excited. I'm way too excited for that game. I also love trick-taking games, so
okay.
I'm pretty excited about it. So Chris, tell us who you are and sort of what you do and where we can find you, your work online.
Oof. So, well, for Renegade, as you said, I'm the events and convention manager. So it used to be just convention manager, but they're not happening right now. So we've kind of pivoted, I think is the right word, to doing the online convention. So I've been doing that since about probably April, which I love working with the Renegade team. It's a lot of fun. I did some content. It's called Game All Night, which was a late night board game talk show.
Awesome.
It's so much fun with the wall of meeples, and it's on hiatus just because, we parked it in February when things started turning, and we just said, you know what, maybe we'll come back to this because I like recording with my live in-studio guests. So that may come back at a future time, but I still get to do a lot of interviews because now I just do them for Renegade. So
yeah, so you still gonna do the interviews, but now we're interviewing you.
I know it kind of feels weird being on the other side of the desk, but it's cool. I like it.
That's awesome. That's so cool, and that's definitely something that I'm gonna have to go back and watch because I love late night interview shows in general, and I love board games, so that sounds amazing. And before we sort of dive into sort of what's happening with events and everything with Renegade, how did you get into board games? Like, what was that journey for you getting?
I'm one of those people. Yeah, it started for me. Like, I was always the guy who had board games, like, period. So like I had Taboo and all those other things. And when friends would come over. What was
your like first board game that you got like super crazy excited about?
Stop Thief.
Oh, all right.
It was like, but I don't know that I ever actually got to play it with somebody. So I think the Shelf of Shame started very, very young for me.
Oh no.
Payday, but like Stop Thief was one that was really exciting when it came out because I'm also showing my age a little bit, but that's okay.
That's all right. That's all right. I mean, I don't think I have lots of old games too that I like. So
yeah, it's great. The redo is a lot of fun, and it's definitely got the nostalgia bend for me, more so than like the Hero Quest and the other stuff that's around. But that was pretty big. And then kind of fast forward, and I found Will Wheaton's Tabletop. And then I kind of, next thing you know, we're having like guys game day where we have like, big fancy beer and play games. And then all of a sudden I'm finding I'm playing games without the guys. And now I'm trying to go find games at other places and looking on Meetup and, cheating on everybody, going all the other.
Just say, it sounds like it's becoming an addiction.
It did. It definitely, the slippery slope. It took a year to kind of get off the beginner hill, but then it's been straight double black diamonds ever since. It's just
I feel that.
Yeah, all the way.
I love when people get to the point where they're like, I just need to game more than this. And like, where are the people? I need the people that will intensely game. That's like when I go for weekends with people that are very much in the board game industry, and anyone that has ever wanted to join those weekends has been like, oh, I would love to come and hang out. And I'm like, okay, but just so you know, we're going to be gaming like nonstop. And if you're not gaming, that's fine. But you're going to go over there and not game, and we're going to be here. We're not going to move. So yeah, I love stuff like that.
Literally 2 to 3 hours at a time right here with minimal breaks.
Yes.
Like we will forget about dinner entirely at some point.
Yeah, that will happen. Or, you have your like snacks on the side and you're like snacking and gaming while you're going.
That works.
So that's awesome. So then you've pretty much been into games your entire life, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's definitely been a part, and I tried some role-playing stuff when I was real young with, Top Secret, and the first round of Paranoia was kind of like the ones, I mean, I had all the D&D, but we never really played it. But Top Secret actually got played, and I actually learned percentages from Top Secret because I'm like, it helped me understand something right at the right time. Like it was like 7th grade percentages. It just kind of all clicked, and I'm like,
that's great. I also love when games do things like that, whether it be role playing or board games. There are like concepts that there are things you can learn from games. This is the thing I also love about like with kids playing games with them, is I always love finding a game where I'm like, oh, and this will also teach you something, especially when it's about like, I love learning about history. So I love when I can find games that have historical aspects, and then I can be like, let's learn about, secretly I'm teaching you about ancient Rome, but it's fun, so you won't know what's happening.
Right. Like it's funny. One of the things I do is I also do a 18xx podcast, and learning how much history designers like build into the game is intense, and it's really cool, like how they bring that out. And so finding those moments when you game is very cool, when you can kind of connect a few dots. I love that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. So what exactly is your position? What do you do for Renegade? So you do events and convention manager, but put that into layman terms for us. What does that entail? And how did you find your way to Renegade? What was the journey to us?
It was it's really funny because when I started, like literally it was designing and getting booths ready for Gen Con and Origins, and really it's about setting up the booths and making sure it's staffed and making sure all the product is there, how it's going to be displayed, shipping it, getting people out there, and the whole physical part of the convention. That's what I was literally hired to do. And then like literally the week after is when my state went on lockdown. So we quickly tried to pivot, and I pitched an idea for the convention and how we could do it. And then the whole team kind of bid at it. And then next thing you know, we're all putting all these pieces together, and we kind of built an online way of doing things. So we started adding that to our repertoire, and it kind of fell on me because obviously it's an event and I know how to do this stuff. So it worked out really well.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
so
it was good timing.
Was it kind of interesting, like having to adjust that perspective? And what was it like when you came in and you were like, these are the things that I'm doing? And then now what is that? What is that digitally like? Like what, because you go from setting up a booth, right? Which I know what that is, as someone that's been
it's very physical.
In booths. Yeah, it's very physical. There's a lot of things to coordinate with people. And I mean, I'm assuming virtually there's still a lot of coordination to do with people. But what is the booth? What is that aspect like? Like, do you build a virtual booth?
Yeah, so Well, I mean, and that was kind of what we ended up trying to do was, yeah, we want to build a booth and a kind of a way to, gather that experience. Like the interviews we do are kind of designed to be that replacement for, you're walking through the convention and you
Mhm.
bump into TC Petty and you want to have a discussion about his games and you want to geek out a little bit.
Mhm.
That's what the interviews are kind of taking the place of. And
Mhm.
panels are obviously being panels. The demo team does a great job of making the demos feel like in-person demos, which I absolutely love.
That's so great.
The team we have for that just does a tremendous job.
Mhm.
And, just trying to keep people busy,
Mhm.
have lots of things to do. And we're really trying to kind of make sure that it's still a big fun thing to kind of attend and be a part of, and sometimes miss, right? Like sometimes you miss those one or two
Yeah.
little things.
But those are kind of it is great when you have those moments where someone's like, "Oh, did you see this? Or did you go and like check that out?" And you're like, "Oh,
Right.
I didn't see that this time." And it gives you this hype for like the next time you're at an event or
Hmm.
and actually I find a lot of the times the things that I miss are always the things that I need. So then like I leave the con and I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta go get that game or I gotta go like play that with someone. I
Right.
gotta check it out. That's so cool.
Exactly.
And the virtual booth too, I gotta say, like I'm excited for just our virtual booth in general. Also, all of the little images we have for Renegade Con are so cute and they just sort of give me the nostalgia of being, it reminds me of, there used to be like games you could play when I was a
Hmm.
kid where you would go digitally. I don't even know if I should have been playing these games. I was like 12. And now I think back and I'm like, I really have been going and being like ASL. That's not a thing you should ask children. But you would go and there was like Habbo Hotel and all these things. You have these little digital people and you build your little
Hmm.
digital room. And it just reminds me that artwork of that. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to be in a digital room with all these awesome people. And I can say I've worked with a lot of the demo team. And they are amazing. They're super engaging and will make you fall in love with everything in a terrible but great way.
Yeah, it's been really funny because like the first time we put out a call and we barely got enough people to kind of make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then so every time we've done events after that, it's been like, uh-oh, let's hope I can scrounge up a team. More people are going back to work and things. Never a problem. Like everybody is there. They're like, yes, they have their signs up. We'll be there. We want to be there. We want to. It's been a complete non-event as far as stress on that. And now
That's
it's
great.
the stress is the other way. It's like, well, I want to make sure this person gets there because I know they enjoy it. And
Yeah.
so,
I think that the other thing too is that everyone is just so dedicated when it comes to what it's like to work with Renegade because it really is such a fun experience. You
mhm.
just want to work more with Renegade because everyone's so nice and it's a good community, I guess, of people. So
Yeah, because everybody's pulling their weight and everybody's having a great time,
yeah.
and it makes the time go fast, but you still get a lot of work done,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I totally agree with that. It's everyone is always willing to put in like 150%, which is just awesome. And then you never feel like anyone's carrying the entire weight because we're all pitching in so hard. So it's really, and then it
Exactly.
just makes every con that I've been to with Renegade super successful. So that's just lovely for you to be a part of. And so, what do you do to contribute to this beautiful community, the board game community, where everyone is usually like the sweetest people in the world? We have such a good community of people, though.
Right.
I'm part of lots of fandoms, and I will say the board game hobby community is one of the best
It
groups of people.
really is.
Mhm.
For me, it's really just about, making sure that, we have great people, great events, and that everybody gets to be a part of it who wants to be. That's from, creators that come in and help us out and do things, so it's coordinating a lot of that stuff. It's also coordinating the schedules for the demo team and making sure that they, you know, does it make sense for this person to demo that game? Do I want somebody who is, we have people who are just super bubbly and awesome. That's like, that's not Embarcadero people. That's Guditama people, right? It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, Embarcadero is great and I love it, but that's they're going to be like, after 15 minutes, they're going to, it's
Be
wasted.
dead. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
gonna be
So
like, I'm so tired.
yeah, put them where they're going to do the most good, right?
Yeah.
That's my restaurant background coming out. It's like we called
Hmm.
it our aces in our places.
Oh, yes. I've heard that phrase before. I've also worked in the restaurant industry. I think I worked in the restaurant industry for about like 8 years. So I'm
Yep,
with you. How long did you work in service for?
30 years.
30 years. Oh my goodness. Did you have a place that you really loved that you worked at?
I've kind of enjoyed them all, but most recently I was doing chef instruction, which
Ooh,
that I really loved.
yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's kind of like the best of all things I like to do, kind of coming together
Hmm.
in cooking, because it's sharing, it's passion, it's fun. And I learn something new every day. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
again, I was a chef for 30 years, but I still learn stuff, doing it. It's great. It's fun.
There's a lot of elements, I think, too, that you can easily take from that kind of experience over to exactly what you're doing now. So that's so great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love the way you said too about how what you really try to do is make sure that everyone that wants to be a part of it can be a part of the convention. Because I'm just like, ooh, that's just literally inclusion, which I think is one of my favorite things about the board game community. And I think is something so
Truly.
important, is making sure that everyone that wants to be at a table can be at a table, whether it's playing or teaching or any of the various roles that we have at conventions, doing panels. It's really great. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's and sometimes I put out a call for partners and people we know and work with, and I'm like, what do you want to see for a panel? What do you want to see for workshops? What would you like to do? Like, and try and really, I could sit here and make a list, but that's not going to engender anybody to want to be passionate about it. For me it
Yeah.
does, but it does. So,
I mean, I
so
also love lists, so I
yeah,
feel you on that. But yeah, I
yeah.
think that is important. Looking at who do, like you said, the aces in the places, and you want to look at what sparks a joy. Listen to me. I'm going. I'm totally. Does this spark joy?
How
But
much self-help books are on those shelves behind you right there?
I don't know. There's none of them actually. None of these are self-help books. I don't think. I think they're all um, manga books.
Even
But
better.
yes, even better. Self-help in its own way. But yeah, it really is about making sure that I think everyone that has something to do really feels that that's how you make a great convention. So I really appreciate that that's the approach, because when people are super excited about stuff, it engages everyone around them and it engages everyone you're working with too and brings everybody in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's contagious, is what it is. So, Renegade did one of our first virtual cons
Hmm.
in spring, um, and that happened. So why are we doing another one? Why are we doing this one? What is different about this one? What's important here?
So one of the things I think we kind of learned was that, my goodness, we have so many properties and things that just trying to get it all out in one convention it's just not doable. And
Hmm.
then also, like, fall's a pretty big time for us because, like, Essen's around the corner and things like that. So and it's easy to get lost in those bigger conventions. So
Hmm.
we're just like, well, why don't we just redirect what we were going to do? Like, say, literally flying to Essen, we're doing this for literally a fraction of what one of those trips would cost. So now we're able to say, let's do it again, and let's repeat it, and let's learn some of the things we learned, and let's fix
Hmm.
some of the things that we want to fix, and let's try and make it even better this time around, because we
Hmm.
we still have exciting stuff to talk about, and release and announcements to make and things like that. And having a show in the fall is just, it's perfect timing to do it.
Is there any improvements that you're really excited about? Like, that are some things that you know are going to be changed from the first convention that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that we're doing it this way now. Trying
Yes.
this.
So there's two huge changes. One of the big ones is we kind of trimmed down how many workshops we did. We were ambitious is the big word to say for that the first time. I think we had I want to say 13 workshops in the first time, and it was a lot to produce, and it just put a little, like, they were great, but shotgun blast. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of pare that down, and we're also going to add in the some live plays of some actual games. So that way you can, like, maybe you don't get a demo, but you could see a live play of, Autumn Harvest, the new Tree Dragon game that we're demoing. You're going to be able to see a playthrough of it, and you're going to be able to go do a demo. Or once you see the playthrough, you can go play the game yourself and try it out. So you can kind of get that feel. So that's really, one of the big changes. We also learned that the tournament was really cool last year. Like we had the tournament for, it was Raiders of the North Sea. And it was an awesome trophy and things. So this time we're actually going to do Gudetama as our tournament. Ooh. Which is going to be kind of fun. It's going to be crazy goofiness. And then the designer and Ruel are actually going to do a color commentary of the final rounds of the game live. So
it's so awesome.
Yeah, so kind of like, hey, this was really fun part. Let's show this a little bit more of how cool it is.
It's going to be like some sort of intense, like, poker moments, but with Gudetama.
It's going to be fun because it's going to be like elimination. Like, I think we're letting 6 players in, and then the first round, last place drops off, and yep. So we're going to do that. I think
that sounds super exciting. I'm excited for that. And I love that you also said ambitious when you were talking about workshops, and I was like, ambitious? Renegade? That doesn't sound like us. I feel like we're so ambitious in everything we do all the time, which is both awesome, and actually it's only really awesome because, if anything, even when we're super ambitious and we're like, oh, this wasn't exactly how we wanted it, we're like, oh, but now we learned for next time what to do.
I mean, and that comes straight down from Scott, because
it does.
You just know, like, within working with him for a month before we really started planning the first one, like, I knew that that's how we had to go. Like, he doesn't necessarily tell you. You don't need to be told, but you just know that we're like, if we're going to do this, do it. Like,
let's go. Yeah.
Let's go all in, not just one channel. We went 3 channels the first time. We cut that back to 2. Oh, and something else we're doing that's kind of cool is we're literally designing tracks this time. So that, like, for instance, if you're interested in RPG games, you'll be able to pretty much catch all the RPG stuff. Okay, you're not going to have competing RPG stuff up against.
We have to choose. Stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But if you want to do board games and RPGs, you're going to have some, Solomon's babies, because you're going to have to figure it out, because we have, there's a lot of those going head to head. So we tried to be a little more conscious with scheduling this time.
Yeah. So wasn't as many conflicts. And then the conflicts that you have, hopefully they'll be fun conflicts. And exactly. You'll be kind of like, oh, this thing.
It's kind of like, roll dice kind of fun conflicts.
Yeah. I like those. Like I said, it is, like we were saying earlier, it is honestly at cons too, just as much about the little things that you do miss, because those are meaningful in a lot of ways, especially when you feel that feeling of, oh, I missed it. And you feel like a little remorse. You're like, ooh, that means something. I should check that.
And are there that was intense. Like, that was a conscious decision in the first one, because people have done online stuff where they've done like a day of streaming or 2 days of streaming, but nobody has done, the multi bandwidth yet when we did ours. And it was causing a lot of stress. And it's that good stress, right? Like you say, it's like you have 2 windows open and you're trying to catch both or whatever you're trying to do.
But it's that, it's just that but having that is very good. I do love, and that's what gives you the sense of a convention. So I think that's really awesome that we're doing that, because I've been part of virtual cons. I watched a lot of DC fandom, the first part of it. And that is a con that literally they just gave you one I mean, was it even
Yeah.
really a con? I think they called it a con, but it was more of just an event because it was just a day of footage and it was all footage you saw in the morning and then they replayed it.
Yeah,
So
it was
still
cool, but
fun.
it was all canned, and it's kind of
Yeah.
you knew that, and so
Yeah.
that
Not as
it's
interactive either as what we're
yeah.
doing. And that was a con that I thought was still really good. But what I like about this is it's that feeling of choice. And when you're at a real convention,
Mhm.
that's what it's like. You can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah, and usually you can't make it from one end clear to the other end in time
Yeah.
anyway.
Oh, this is actually a thing that I do like about virtual conventions, though, because I've been to SDCC and been like, oh, I got to go do this event. And then I'm like, where's the next one? Oh, no, I'm never going to make it over there.
Yeah,
I have to go
no,
through all these people. Yeah. So,
and you want to stop and look because that's why I'm at a convention.
yeah. Well, you're always going to walk past things that make you go,
Yeah.
ooh, what's that over there? Hopefully this virtual convention will also have moments like that. I love moments like that at cons where you get sucked into something and then
Mhm.
you're like, oh, this is actually amazing. And it wasn't even on my radar and I found it. Are there any games that you're super, speaking of all the new games, are there any games that you're super excited for?
Well, like for the convention, I mean, well,
Mhm.
we talked about the Tea Dragon 2. That's the
Mm.
Autumn Harvest, which is the second one.
Mhm.
I love, I'm like a huge fan of Katie O'Neill now.
Same.
Yeah, and I had no idea. Like I enjoyed the guy at Tea Dragon 1. I actually like
Mhm.
literally won it a couple of years ago. And it was
Oh.
fun and I liked it and I'm like this is really pretty and then all of a sudden like I get the books to do some research because I got to do an interview with her and I'm like this woman's amazing. I just love her to death and I just love everything she touches. She's her worldview is awesome and amazing.
It really is.
And so being able to kind of produce those games kind of based on her IP and maybe give somebody, I mean, I'm I'm almost half a century old and I got gooey about a little kid's book that was just like melted my heart and I'm like, oh, like
I
so
love that though. I feel
I
you.
know.
I know.
I really hope that we can through distributing it and all that we can maybe get turn some more people onto it. So
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm super excited for Autumn Harvest. And I feel the same way about Katie O'Neill. I sort of found her through Renegade,
Hmm.
through Tea Dragon Society. And I loved that game because this kind of, to me, it was a unique mechanic of this idea of I'm building a deck, but I'm not really building a deck. I'm sort of building a hand. And there's kind of a press
Right.
your luck component. And I was like, ooh, this is like kind of weird. And I like it. And it's
Yeah.
really cute. And then the last convention I was at physically with Renegade, I thought to teach Aquacorn Cove because I love that game. I'm still so obsessed with it. And I'm still at the level that I'm trying to get everything to the very top level so that there's like no pollution and there's a million homes.
Yep.
Like I fix the world. I just feel so accomplished every time I finish that game. And the great thing I think is that even when you don't win Katie O'Neill sort of themed game, you always feel good still. Like you can lose and you still feel great, which is the
Yeah.
magic of Katie O'Neill and her world.
Right. No, you're completely right. And the fact that the Autumn Harvest is kind of supposed to be a little more gamery, I guess is the way Steve kind of described it. Kind of
Yeah.
even makes me go even better. Like now I need to like smash them together and have some awesome fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited as well for the new Tea Dragons that we're going to be seeing in that one as well. I need to
What
also, every time I see Oni Press, I need to like go and like collect all the Tea Dragon things. So
yes, and we're trying to make sure that we can have the plushies available. So that's a distinct must try because I think Cammy came in. Which is your favorite? I have to ask.
my favorite is Roybus.
Okay.
Roybus is my favorite. I have a Roybus pin. I have a Roybus plushie. I got all the plushies last time. Actually, I think I also have all the pins for the ones that have so far been released to
Nice.
purchase. What's your favorite Tea Dragon?
I like Jasmine.
Yeah.
He's old, narky. He's just, he's a little like, he's kind of a little aloof. Like yeah.
but
Yeah.
also very fancy, which I like. Which, like I
Yeah.
said, is like you in your jacket today. I feel this Jasmine vibe.
It's just a Renegade shirt, but it's a jacket.
but, but that's so awesome. Do you have a favorite of the new ones in Autumn Harvest? Can you talk about that?
I haven't. It's still getting built in Tabletopia, so I've been
Okay.
kind of saving. Like
little
I don't
things?
want to peek until it's ready. So I'm that guy on like Christmas. I'm like, no, I'll wait. Like I want everybody else to open your stuff and then I'll open mine because I want to see it when it's all done. So I'm kind of just waiting a little bit.
That's fair. I'm also so just excited to see people's eyes light up when we show it to them. That for me is always the joy at a convention. Watching other people fall in love with things makes me very happy. That's how you know that's how you know that I've been a demoer for years, because that is literally what your job is.
Yeah. Point of advice, if anybody's ever demoing and you don't love the game you're demoing, find a different game to demo, because you should love demoing the game you're teaching, and because you're not doing anybody a service if you're not enjoying that, right?
Yeah, you want to fall in love with it. And I've also demoed at tables where, I mean, you also never know who's going to come over. You really don't want to be the person that's like super sour about a game. And then I've had so many designers come over to tables where I've been demoing and not known that they were designers until after I'm like done my teach. And I'm like finishing my teach. I'm like, you got that? And then they're like, oh, I designed it actually. Look, it's me. And I'm like, oh, I hope I got that right. And they're just like, yeah, I love your passion. And that's what you want for everybody at the table.
Yep.
So you're doing it right if a designer comes and see the love in your eyes. If they feel it, you're good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So and people seem to have enjoyed that, even though now it sounds, I'm super excited for this convention. You're just getting me more hyped, Chris. I was already
good. I'm the hype man. That's kind of what I should do, right?
Yeah. But so people did seem to enjoy the last one we did, though, a lot. And is there anything else that you feel like we're doing this time that you think maybe we did it last time, but now it's going to be like enhanced? So different from like the things that are different, more just the things that you feel like we've like really polished this element.
It's going to be a little better. I think some of the core things that we really kind of, we gave workshops a little more time, because we kind of felt like they felt like they were kind of bumping up against the hour and a half that we had allotted. So we kind of extended that out and gave them a little more breathing room. So, because there was always a lot of questions that people have during a workshop, and they kind of get cut off once people are done a presentation and time's up. So we want to be able to kind of ease into that and make it a little more comfortable. So we kind of stretch that out a little bit. That's a big one that I would say. And then the panels, we had a few that were rather large. So what we decided this time was we decided to kind of, we found the magic number is like 3 guests. And so we're going to really try and make sure that, we have a well-stocked panel that will be very interactive, and then everybody gets a voice, right? And they're not kind of getting lost, because that definitely was, I don't want to say it was a problem, but if somebody is super type B and, 4 other people are talking all the time, they're just going to be quietly staring at a screen, and that's just not good for anybody. So
no, that's always a tricky thing to balance.
Right.
And people can also get tickets to our virtual con, but it's also free. Yes. So why do we need tickets, and how do we get tickets, and why do you think that is an important part of? I mean, I would say a lot of virtual conventions have that element.
So what we did is the ticketing system is really 2 parts. It's number 1, it's so you can get notified when the events are about to happen. Like, so if you have a ticket for a thing that you want to go to, you'll get an email or a notification from Eventbrite, which, why reinvent the wheel? They do it just fine. Pro tip is just make sure that your local time zone is set for Eventbrite so that it adjusts your time for you. because this event is all scheduled in Pacific time. So that way it should translate to whatever you're in.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. We're going to send everybody who attends things like surveys. Like that's how we get better. We want to hear what you have to say. So like everybody who attended the convention and bought a ticket got emailed the survey link from the last time, which big surprise also included, a chance to win a giveaway because, who doesn't like that?
Also, we love giveaways. So
right. So we also kind of tiered things up a little bit so that we can break people out by who got in first, who got in second, who got in third. We have some designs on that I don't know exactly if they're going to come out the way I'm going to say it. So I'm not going to say anything, but there might be reasons to get in sooner rather than later. And I'm going to leave it at that.
So get your tickets early.
Yeah. Just go to Eventbrite, and then all the tickets for all the other things, that's also so that, people know that you're at the event. And like, if a panel, like let's say the Oni Press panel wants to ask everybody what their thoughts were, we can then obviously contact everybody and say, hey, like, hey, here's a discount code or whatever. Can you do this thing for us and let us know?
Yeah,
and then demos, it's helpful, right, to have tickets because now you're going to actually have a demo spot.
Yeah.
Whereas, before it's luck of the draw and maybe you can get in the game, and we'll still do walk-ups, but we did some scheduled demos like every other hour to make sure that people can get them. And then all of the RPGs are all ticket based.
Okay.
Because
that always makes sense with RPGs. Yeah. But so that's good. So people can still walk up, but it's advantageous for you to get tickets. Sounds
absolutely. Especially if you know your times. The schedule is up on our website. You can just get through the Renegade Con. I have everything in there with links to all the events and everything. So you can kind of see what's gonna, what times you might have free and things like that.
Yeah. And you can plug in your schedule early. That's like one of my favorite things about conventions in general is when you go and you like have your books and you're like looking through and you're like, what am I going to do today? So exciting. Exactly. And there are there are tons of events though. So I love that we were talking about how we had so many workshops and we sort of scaled that back, but there's still so much going on and so many amazing things. So when it comes to that schedule, is there something that other than like me writing it down, is there something I can have to help me keep that straight or guide me through this beautiful winding road?
So the online site is going to have everything, right? So I highly recommend there. Make sure you check it out. I'll have one that you can print. We're just finalizing one or two of the last panels. So I want to make sure I have that all completely 100% set in stone. And then I'll have one that you can print off and then you can highlight. So
fridge or put it up. Get
exactly.
ready.
Where you want to be, when you want to be there.
Yeah.
The Eventbrite will help you again, stay on time because you can take those, plug them right into your calendar and things like that.
Yeah.
And this time we're just using our YouTube and our Twitch. So, we pretty much, if you keep an eye on both of those, like for all of the YouTube stuff, there'll be, pre-done, ready to go video slots that you can make sure that you set reminders for and things like that. So as soon as those start getting populated in the next week or two, then you can start going in and setting reminders for them and doing that as well. So we got a couple ways to do it.
And you talked about Twitch and YouTube, but I also know we're going to be having some Discord stuff happening. Oh, before I do that, also, if anyone else has any questions, I always come up with lots of questions about convention stuff. So I'm very glad that I have you here to answer these things, Chris. But if anyone else has any questions about this convention, Renegade Con, which is October 9th to 11th, or any other events or conventions we have coming up, or just anything in general for Chris about like maybe his awesome background, literally the background that we can see there, where you have so many fun things, or or just his background in general as a human, please feel free to put those in chat because we will be coming to them shortly. So just so you know. But yeah, so when it comes to, we've got Twitch, we've got YouTube, but we also have Discord happening. So I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit about Discord and the events that we're going to be having there. I know there's going to be like community stuff happening. I'm assuming which will be like when you meet someone at a con and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you again. All of those moments.
Well, I hope so. Those do happen in Discord, believe it or not. Like you run into people you haven't seen in a while, and it's pretty cool. So
that's so cute.
Yeah, definitely getting in the Discord server. It really starts to get hopping the week before. Like that's when, everybody starts getting in there, they're getting excited and start making schedules and things like that. Pretty easy to get to. It's just, renegadegames.com/Discord. That's it. Gets you right in there. But, getting to know that and getting to know the system so that you can ask questions, you can participate, things like that. A lot of the Discord is kind of like literally the booth on the show floor. If we have a booth, Discord's it, like, because that's where everybody hangs out when we're not doing shows and we're not putting on productions, we're watching that. So
that's kind of the place where you can just like see people that are just chilling when they're not in the middle of doing something and engage with them. That sounds really awesome. It's like a little clubhouse.
Totally. And everybody is there for like one of the cool things about running a Renegade convention is everybody who's there is like a fan of Renegade, right?
Yes.
Like that's the only reason they're there. Is just to geek out about whether it's, Power Rangers, whether it's any of the other properties we have. It's so much fun to just kind of, hang out with people who like the exact same thing. It's not like you have to wade through, war gamers or train nerds like me. And, you don't have to deal with them. People like Clank, you got a home.
You can talk about Clank. Yeah, man, I'm excited to go in there and just talk to you about Fuse. If anyone wants to get hyped, I know Fuse has been out for, I know I'm like late to get on this train, but I've been playing so much Fuse lately. So if anyone else is as hyped as I am every day about Fuse, come and talk to me. I will be in the Discord server and we can just geek out about it. So we have lots of things happening. There's Discord, there's going to be panels, there's going to be workshops, there's going to be interviews, there's going to be live plays, there's going to be demos. Woo, there's a lot of stuff. So this is a very action-packed full weekend. Are there events that you are like, but this, you need to go to this event. This is a thing that's happening. What are you excited about, Chris? Because you got the DL on all of this good stuff.
I did. So I kind of buried the lead a little bit. One of the things I'm super excited for is we're doing late night this time. So like after we do the rap show, we're going to have a late night show on Friday and Saturday, and that's completely new, right?
Ooh.
So Saturday, the Friday night one, myself and Chris, the charity board gamer, we're going to put on a pub quiz for all different types of media folk. Let me see. I want to pull up the list because I want to make sure I get everybody. So we are going to have Marty from Rolling Dice and Taking Names. We're going to have Blue Peg, Pink Peg. We're going to have Ruel, the brothers Murph, Paula Deming, Girls Game Shelf. So they're all going to have rooms that they are going to try and source answers for the pub quiz from to kind of bring home the grand prize to their channel. And then they get to give out that prize. And then we're also going to do some throughout the event because we're going to do it in a couple rounds. So I think that's going to be a blast. Then we also have Bruce Vogue is doing a pretty cool like party game night show thing. And he's going to interview Scott for a little bit. And it's going to be kind of goofy and fun because if you know Bruce Vogue, he's big, fun, and goofy. He's just an amazingly fun person. And so he's going to be there on Saturday doing it. So I think the late night is going to kind of be interesting.
That sounds cool. That sounds like those basically the after party of the cons that you normally would go
Yeah.
to, or the just like the like let's go check out these people are hanging out over here. Let's go say hi to them that we
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
seen all day. I love
And they're
that.
just playing werewolf and you're being super annoying because you're just bugging them like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
totally.
love those moments. Oh, I love bugging people that are playing werewolf. They're like, I'm trying to focus.
Trying to read people. Leave me alone.
Could you just leave me alone? I know. So and then this is all happening, but we also have another, we have something else happening later this month, which is not a con, it's an event, but it's happening October 23rd to 25th, I believe, and that is the Morphin Meet. So
Yeah.
I'm a huge Power Rangers nerd, so
Good
I'm
to
also
know.
super excited about this. So yeah, do you want to tell us just a little bit more about Morphin Meet and what's going on, what you're excited for?
Just I don't have a ton because, you know, again, we're still kind of in that everything's kind of jello
Yeah,
stage.
still pretty early.
Right. But what we do have is like we are missing like Power Morphicon this year. And like so there's none of these big events. And literally this was going to be one day. And then it was going to be a day and a night. Now it's a night and a day and a day. So it morphed into a 3-day. See what I did there?
It morphed
into a 3-day event, and it's going to be pretty awesome because we actually have. So I don't know a ton of the world because it is a little late for me. But I'm still excited because we have like 5 Rangers that are going to come be on a reunion panel, which is kind of awesome.
That's super awesome. That's super huge, actually,
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely. And then we also have like Tracy Lynn Cruz, the Yellow Ranger, is going to actually kind of also help us out and kind of be around and be some host. She's going to probably, we're thinking of doing like a virtual kind of costume event that we want to do. Maybe have her host like a trivia night. So we're gonna try and really make it's 100% for Power Rangers fans. Like if you are a Clank person, this is probably not your bag, but it's such a great group of people to hang out with. And you know, I just totally love them to death. Like when I got hired, Sarah said, if you ever have a bad day, go into the Power Rangers Facebook group and that'll change. Because you just get this warmth and this passion that they have. And it's like, I have yet to even see something remotely close to prove that wrong.
It is a very positive, very like electric group of people. I will say Power Rangers fans. Yeah. And what was the thing I was going to say? Oh, I was going to say, I also saw, I think it's Dan Sora is also going to be there. Who's the artist?
Dan Mora. Yeah.
Dan Mora. Thank you. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry, Dan Mora, if you're listening to this.
This is a little tricky because Dan is not a native English speaker. So we actually got one of our artists who speaks Spanish to actually interview him. And then we're going to process that for everybody because he is quite literally like, if you've seen any Power Rangers drawings, like 90% of the time it's his.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the comics as well. So I'm pretty psyched for that. And if you haven't, if you love Power Rangers and you love the games and you haven't checked out the comics, you really should get on that because the artwork is amazing and the stories are, I think it's sometimes even better than the shows, which is, yeah, I know. Oh, some people in the comments might be coming for me, but I said it. It's there.
You said it.
I said it. So yeah, all right. So we got a lot of exciting things happening and
a lot.
That sounds awesome. I love that it's like 3 separate days too. It's like different Zords sort of coming together to make this.
If it could be a 5-day event, that would be perfect.
That would have been perfect. Every day would be a Zord.
A little stress bomb dropped on everybody, but it would be perfect.
Yeah. This is what we'll aim for when it comes to I think Morphin events. We need to get to the Zord levels.
Maybe next year. That might be a goal.
Yeah, I like that. We could try it. All right. So we are at the point where it's now, you've all been hanging out here with us for a while. I'm going to drop that code word for you and you can get your hands on Woohoo! Some awesome Athenium and Gudetama. And if you're not excited for Gudetama yet, I don't know what you've been listening to, because I feel like both Chris and I are super hyped. Athenium is
Yeah.
also super fun and magical as well. So
Magical. I like magical.
it is very magical. Yes, you can build that magic library, which I'm all about. So the word is convention. So make sure you plug that in the chat.
Oh, who thinks of this stuff? That's
right. That's what I said when I was told this word today. I was like, convention. How fitting. You never would have guessed it, I bet, you people that are watching us on Twitch, all you roguish renegades out there.
I know.
You wouldn't have guessed it. All right, and yeah, that's basically all I have so far.
Awesome.
So Desiree, do we have questions in the chat?
So we've gotten a lot of praise and excitement, but we do have just two questions right now. So one is more of a request, because we know that Chris, you gave us a cookie exchange from the last virtual event we did. I believe Ruel is requesting a taco exchange.
Ooh.
What's your level of taco making?
So as far as my skills with the Southern cuisine, my proudest moment was when one of my kitchen staff, and I love having a Mexican kitchen with, as a chef, it's one of my, I love it because hardworking people, they all love food, super passionate. Like, it's one of my favorite kitchens to run. And when I made my guacamole and the staff said it was better than what they got at home, I kind of take that as like I can do this. So my taco skills are kind of strong.
Oh, challenge accepted, sounds like.
I know. That's, I'd love to do, like, I did 2 cooking shows for Gen Con. I got to do, yeah, Desiree knows because she got to she got to produce it for me, but it's a little harder when you're behind the camera doing the stuff and then also trying to cook and do the other stuff. It gets a little complicated, so I couldn't really add the cooking in this time.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe you could build in a little padding into the schedule for it.
Awesome. Well, I know I took notes of that awesome guacamole that you fixed up. So
right?
I took notes.
And there's even like stage 2 guacamole where you add in like some fresh corn. Like you take some corn straight off the cob and you throw that in. It gives this nice little burst of pop and crunch into your guacamole. That's just
nice. Okay, who's hungry now?
Yeah. Now
I will say the cookie exchange is actually still up on the website. I think if you go to renegadegames.com/cookies, you'll see, I think we had like 16 people give us recipes and put them in there. So
I love that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is definitely the community. Well, is my camera good?
I thought you were giving me a high five. Now
I mean, also virtual high fives.
Okay,
there we go. We can do that.
I didn't want to leave you hanging.
Yeah.
And then the let's see, the only other question I have here is, so you had mentioned, Chris, about the different tracks, which is going to make things much easier for those that maybe just have, one thing they really want to get, the experience of, but someone is asking if there are going to be tutorials on how to participate. They registered last time but couldn't get to what they wanted to see or participate.
So I think we're definitely going to do a couple things to help out with that. So in the core of it does revolve around Discord. So there's going to be a schedule channel in Discord that will have links to all of the events. So like we were talking about earlier with tickets, if you don't need a ticket to go to a panel, it's just helpful, and it's helpful for both sides because, we know we're there, and then we also know that you're going to get told when the event is. But the schedule will live on the Discord server in a scheduled channel so that you can get to where you want to get to within 2 clicks. So that way you can then participate. So, if you want to participate in the Twitch stream, which if you're answering questions on here, I think you got that one figured out. And then the same thing will go for the YouTube. It'll just be, the chat and the comments is what we pull questions from for the staff as well. However, it is on the short to-do list to maybe do a couple quick tutorial videos kind of showing people like, this is where this is in Discord. Once we kind of flesh out exactly how that looks, we can definitely do something like that, I think, pretty easily.
That sounds super helpful, actually. All of that sounds super helpful.
I like to be super helpful.
I think you're very good at it, Chris. So good job. You're doing it.
Well, thank you.
All right, so I think that is it for the questions today.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you, Desiree. And yeah, before we head out, can you remind us, Chris, who you are, what you do, where we can find you, your work, all the good stuff?
All the good stuff. So,
all the good stuff.
Again, I run conventions and events. So if you ever have any questions, issues, anything about the convention, you can find me in Discord. I'm one of the admins, so you can feel free to message me directly, and I'd be happy to help you out. Like, the person who's having any issues, the team is in there in the help and information channel, so we can certainly help you out there too. You can find me in the Discord, Chris Whitpan, pretty straightforward. You can find me on Twitter. I'm as Game All Night Show, and night is spelled N-I-T-E. That's the account I use most of the time. So that's where, that's where I spend most of my time. I post pictures of the arcade machine I just made today and the cupcakes I bought. That's what you get from me. Occasional nuggets of fun.
Sounds good. I like it. And all right, well, that's all we have for today. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Awesome. Just a little reminder before we head out, before we say bye to Chris, Embarcadero Kickstarter going strong. Check that out. We funded it in 19 minutes. That's craziness.
It's so cool. It's such a neat game. I cannot wait to get my grubby little mitts on it.
Oh yeah, I know, it looks so good. And we also have the Gudetama, the tricky egg card game, which is at the shelf, so you can get that at your friendly local game store, as well as Clank Adventuring Party. Yeah, and I'm super excited for Gudetama. I can't.
So adorable.
I can't wait for this tournament.
It's gonna be so much fun. And the that Clank Adventuring Party, like, I own everything of Clank before I even came on Renegade. We just absolutely love it in this house. And that Adventuring Party, getting to play as Mr. Whiskers is worth the price of admission. Just saying.
That sounds awesome. I love it. All right. Before we go, the giveaway code word is convention, and that will enter you in a giveaway where you can get Athenian and Gudetama. So be sure to type that in the chat if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining me, Chris. And it was really nice meeting you.
Right. Very cool. Thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun. It's fun being on the other side.
Yeah, it can be pretty fun. And thank you so much for all of your work as well, for getting everything together and doing all the things that you do to make these events and these conventions happen.
Got it.
Yeah. And thank you everybody for joining us as well in the chat. I hope you had a good time. That's all we have today, everybody. So till next time, remember to play your game.
Have fun.